please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. The SGX Nifty is now well in the green and up about 46 points. Let's see if that translates into actual opening and more importantly, if that can sustain. Ashwani Gujral, Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar now join us. Good morning, gentlemen. Ashwani, if we have a 40-45 point gap up, is there a trade on the Nifty?
Well, good morning. And if that happens, I think the market is a better sell-on rally. If that doesn't happen, if it gives you a 25-point gap up, it's still a sell-on rally. So 10,480, 500 is kind of a ceiling. So if we get anywhere close, I think you should be getting short. On the bank Nifty, any sort of rally, say closer to 25, 650 thereabouts, should be used to sell.
In the unlikely event, okay, first, good morning, Ashwini. In the unlikely event, it goes beyond that 10,480 and 25,560 on Nifty Bank. Do the trades reverse? Is there a long possibility? I mean, it looks unlikely, but if it happens?
I won't think so, because you can't take market prices beyond certain levels in a vacuum. The market is weak, the bears are in strong control. The moment they'll see 50, 70 point gap up, they will come into sell. And even if we go beyond that, it may not happen in the first go itself. The market may come back, make a higher low and then go. So the safest trade is to be short, because I don't think there are any triggers that we have at the moment. And 10,500 held on for 2 or 3 sessions. So chances are from there you'll get to see some sort of downside.
Okay, so the safest trade is to go short. Sudarshan Sukhani and Mitesh Thakkar are also with us. Sudarshan, would you concur that in the very near term we are headed southwards?
Good morning. Well, we have been suggesting going short for the last 7 days, and markets have fortunately been in favor of our suggestions. Today is a different day, Sonia. I think the big declines that we saw yesterday in the Nifty was an exhaustion. The markets all of a sudden started to fall, and then there was no support. There was no reason to stop at support. They simply went on rolling down. That happens when markets have a final push towards a low. So to my sense, we've seen a low being made yesterday. Today, in early morning, you should be closing your short positions. For the Nifty Bank, after the first 1 hour of stability, I would recommend going and going long in the Nifty Bank. For the Nifty, perhaps you would like to go long somewhere in the afternoon. Let there be some more volatility in the morning, it doesn't matter. By the day's end, I think the markets will be poised for a rally. So close your short positions first thing.
Okay, that's interesting. So we have different trends, different views. Of course, that makes the market. Mitesh, good morning. How would you approach trade today?
Yeah, good morning, Anuj. So I think the directional bias remains on the negative side. Secondly, I think the SGX is indicating some kind of positive opening today. But as Ashwini is also highlighting, I think 10,500, 520 is an important pivot. And I think closer to that would be very ideal levels to go short again. We've been kind of negative yesterday when we broke this level and taken some fresh shots. So in case we get closer to this level, I think that will be again an opportunity to go short with a stop just about 10,535 or thereabouts. My sense is that we might head towards 10,350 to begin with, and eventually even more lower levels can come in. The only thing is that we have been falling for last 7, 8, 9 days, barring 1 day kind of a pullback, which is very weak. So we might get a relief rally for a day or two, but I think I would not be really worried about it till we start getting past the important intraday pivots, and which in this case is close to about 10,500, 520. So those levels or near about those levels would be a fresh shorting opportunity for me.
Okay, fine. There's a bit of a division of opinion in the house. With that, let's come to the stocks. Ashwini, what would you trade today?
Well, Britannia is a buy with a stop of 56.50, target of 58.30. NIT Tech can be bought with a stop of 1,060, target of 1,100. Century Textile is a sell with a stop of 944, target of 910. SRF is a sell with a stop of 1820, target of 1765. And JSPL is a sell with a stop of 231, target of 216.
Steel stocks have been quite weak over the last 3 or 4 days. Sudarshan, good morning. What are your stocks?
Well, they've switched places, more buys than sells today after many days. M&M is a buying opportunity. That stock has been outperforming, and if my sense is right that the markets will find stability, outperformers should continue to do much better. So that's a buy. Mindtree is a no-brainer buy. Here is a stock that had a mild correction, and that correction is over, and it's probably going much higher. And it's also part of the CNX mid-cap IT pack. Godrej Consumer is a buying opportunity. That's part of the FMCG group, and the stock suggests that it has outperformance and is likely to persist with that. So 3 buy ideas from good sectors: M&M, Mindtree and Godrej Consumer. LIC Housing remains a short sell. Remember, housing finance companies are in some kind of a deep down bear market. And BEML is a short. BEML, earlier Anuj used to tell us, watch BEML and decide what the Karnataka elections will be. I think that's done with now. Now we can watch the charts and see BEML come down day after day. 2 shorts, 3 buys.
Okay. Actually, I was expecting an NBFC sell even in Ashwini's list, but I'll come to that in a bit. Mitesh, your list?
Yeah. So I have both mix of buy and sell calls, slightly more tilted towards the negative side. But the first call is a buy on Godrej Consumer, where the intraday charts are quite positive. So keep a stop at 1087. Look for targets of 1140. Sell call on PVR, where the indicator setup is turning negative. That's a short with a stop at 1370 for targets of 1300. Amongst the metal names, Steel Authority was sell yesterday as well. Even at current levels or on a mild bounce back to about 69, 69.5 would be excellent shorting opportunity. Keep a stop at 72. Look for targets of 64. A buy on State Bank of India, and I've been bullish on State Bank since we crossed that 255, 256 mark. So that's a buy. Keep a stop at 252. Look for targets of 285. So it's a slightly more positional nature kind of a call. And a sell on Z, but it's a conditional sell. If it breaks the pivot levels of 551, 550, go short. Keep a stop at 560. Look for declines to about levels of 525.
Okay, thanks guys for all of those stock ideas. We're going to discuss a lot more. Vinod Sharma of HDFC Securities also joins into the conversation. Vinod, hi, good morning. Before I ask you about your own list and the market, I wanted your thoughts on how one should approach Tata Motors now, given that it's plummeted to new lows and results are also weak.
Yeah, results weak, and also you have Mr. Trump saying this morning that obviously the imports into US will be looked at it will be looked at adversely. So this also augurs bad for the stock. I think there is if it dips 4 or 5%, I think it might be a good idea to buy, but not at the opening levels.
Okay. Well, I'm coming to you in a minute,
Yes.
Vinod. I wanted to ask Ashwini about the NBFC stocks. Not just housing, generally NBFC stocks, more housing. More shorting opportunities there even now, positionally, Ashwini?
See, the way Bajaj Finance, etc. are reacting now, it's more a case of where people are hiding. So, even the bluest of blue chip NBFCs will now start to fall. Yesterday was a good short trade on Bajaj Finance. I think there could be, 7, 8, 10% downside even on Bajaj Finance. So what we are expecting in this round is that these haloed stocks start to come off, because the others have already been beaten black and blue. But my sense is LIC Housing, Canfin Home, etc. could still go down further, because if you see adjusted, Canfin Home is probably still up 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years. So there is more downside clearly on financials.
Okay, Ashwini, a couple of these consumption stocks are still doing well, the likes of Pidilite or Jubilant Food. Thoughts here?
See, finally everything will come down. Now slowly, you'll have some stocks dropping off, like maybe Dabur is dropping off, or Pidilite may drop off. A couple of stocks will continue till the end, but finally everything falls. If you are planning to stay long on Jubilant Food, you won't make great amounts of money. Maybe you'll not lose as much. The trend of the market is down, and right now you need to make money on the downside.
Okay. Yes, I guess for a long-term investor, there are portfolio building opportunities, but we will come to that. Vinod, sell in May and go away is working yaar. Aapne bola nahi work hoga.
No. See, you have to change your view.
Okay.
And we held this view on 23rd of March that we are long, and we publicly changed here our view that now we call off that strategy, because the markets can go up if you are using a theme. And that a theme is the markets need a stimulant, and that political stimulant is now no more there after the Bangalore thing.
Okay.
So I'm not in the house, I'm not in that school which says that it will be difficult for Modi to make in 2019. That is a different story.
Yeah.
But the things which have made our stock go up or which is making the markets go down and making the people look at the macros in more closely, I think that was crude, and crude can change all that, and it can change overnight.
Right.
So it's not lost as yet.
Vinod, good morning. So you have a lot of stock ideas. You have 3 buy ideas and 2 sell ideas.
Yes.
So let's start with the buy ideas.
Yes, buy ideas Britannia. It's nothing. Don't try and amend something which is not broken. So I continue to buy 5,700 call at 6.6 at 66 rupees. Sorry, stop loss at 45. Target of around 110. This is stock which is gaining market share. Jain Irrigation came out with stellar set of numbers yesterday, and this is a stock which has seen a lot of shorts being built. In the series, we have seen the price go down by 12% and OI had gone up by 21%. That will need some covering. So I'm buying the 105 call here at 3.2, stop loss at 2 and target around 5.5. The third buy I have is Tata Elxsi, in which positions were built on the shorter side. In the series. Yesterday they were neutral. The stock had gone up by 3%. I'm buying the 1200 call at around 30, stop loss at 18 and target of around 50.
Oh. Anything else that you're looking at?
Yes, but those two stocks are on the sell side. So I'm buying the Jindal Steel and Power put at 225 put at 6.25, stop loss at 4, target of 10, and L&T Finance buying the 160 put at around 2 and stop loss at 1 and target of around 4.
Part of the tumult has come from commodities and currencies. Is it calm this morning? Manisha Gupta is going to tell us. Tell us, Manisha.
Well, I don't remember it was calm the last time, Lata, but yeah, we have seen some more profit-taking come in for the crude oil prices, still holding around that $79 per barrel. We did see prices slip below that after the US inventories showed a surprise jump of nearly 5.8 million barrels. And the important point also is that the hedge funds, which have been holding net long positions at record highs for a very long time, finally seem to be taking profit for last 5 or 6 weeks. The net longs are down by 10%, and much of the selling really has come in at $80 per barrel. So $80, and you still have some sells being put at those levels. So that is how the global scenario seems to be right now. But apart from that, the kind of US data that you have seen yesterday has been slightly on the bearish side. The US exports have declined. You also have seen a buildup in the US gasoline. So that means the demand for the crude products also has seen a bit of a drop, and that is what has led to some profit taking in the crude oil prices. But having said that, we still are looking at a lot of uncertainty, and much of that would really go on until 22nd June. That is when the OPEC review meeting is. In the metal space, it's really quite a mixed scenario. The steel prices have continued to decline for a 5th straight day today. It's a 4-week lows coming in for this one. Some bit of a support, though, comes in for aluminum, as Rusal reports that it has started putting out shipments to some of its customers. Decline in copper prices has continued as the inventories have seen a rise. Markets also are looking at the Trump statements that the US-China trade talks are not as per on track. So quite a bit of an uncertainty, and that is keeping these markets quite jittery as well.
Okay, Manisha, thanks a lot for that. So commodity markets jittery, equity markets jittery, stocks are jittery. Well, Tata Motors is definitely going to be jittery this morning. It's disappointed this quarter. Jaguar Land Rover margins have fallen 200 basis points and losses continue for the standalone business as well. Ashwin Patil of LKP Securities joins us on the phone line. Ashwin, good morning. At the conference call yesterday, the management indicated that the demand weakness continues, especially in markets like UK, Europe, etc. Does that make you a bit, cautious about the stock despite the kind of fall it's already seen?
See, we have been knowing for a while that UK markets are not doing good. US, there is a sort of weakness over there. But Europe, they have given some signs of improvement over there. And they have already said that Europe markets, which they were expecting, they had given a red color to it. Now they are giving an amber color to it, which means that there is some recovery happening in the UK, in the European markets. They also mentioned that the economy in the European markets are still better than the economy in the UK market. So they are expecting the weakness, to slightly reduce, not very much into the green, but yes, some sort of recovery they are expecting in the European market. All said and done, I think that China is performing really very well for them. But still there is a lot of worry regarding demand in the UK, US, and some of the rest of the world countries. But overall, I think that, there can be some recovery in the demand going forward, because the launches which the company has done, the Velar launch they have done, Range Rover and Range Rover Sport refreshes they have brought in, also the E-Pace, all these things will be, all these vehicles or these launches which were launched in the half year of last year will be showing a full year impact this time in FY19. And we think that, the demand, the growth, which is about 5 to 6% this year, it may improve slightly to about 7 to 8% in FY19.
Okay, Ashwin, good morning. In that case, what are you working with in terms of an EPS for FY19? I won't go up to 20, FY19. And have you had to downgrade it? If yes, by how much after looking at the numbers?
See, the company has, taken some sort of write-offs in their non-core businesses, and those, they have also changed their accounting policies, as in the R&D which they used to capitalize below the EBIT, below the EBIT line. Now they are reducing the capitalization amount, and that is going above the EBITDA level. That is going to impact the margins up to some extent. They said that about 100 bips impact will be there on the JLR margins, and about 30 bips on the domestic margins, and on the console basis it will be about 70 bips. So this working we are going around with, and there is slight reduction in the EPS about 5 to 6%, and I think that is going to impact the target price. Earlier we were having a target price close to about 420 rupees. Now it may come down to about 400 rupees.
What is the EPS in rupees for FY19 after the cut?
That right now, I'm not exactly in front of my PC, so I won't be able to comment on that.
Just two more quick questions. What are you forecasting in terms of volume growth for FY19 on the back of this 6% growth in FY18? And could there be a scenario of, a volume decline for Jaguar Land Rover as well in FY19, given the situation?
See, volume decline, I think, at least on the Land Rover front, with, the Velar and the Range Rover Sport, the company will be reporting a growth. On Jaguar front as well, I think that the growth will be there, but it will be smaller than Land Rover, because E-Pace is the only new launch that they have done last year, and it will show its full impact. I-Pace will come, but it will come somewhere in the middle of the year, or maybe by the end of the year. So, the 6% growth that the company has reported in FY19, I think it will, slightly be above that, close to about 7 to 8%, I think so.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. So not everyone's throwing in the towel, and many people still have a price target which is closer to 400 or in and around 400. The stock is at least 25% below that level. But let's see how things pan out. Just to wind up this Tata Motors conversation, our colleague Kevin Lee caught up with the president of the passenger vehicle business, a small business actually, Mayank Parikh, and Girish Bagh, the president of the CV business. Let's just listen to that conversation. We're back in a jiffy.
I think we have a very robust pipeline, Kevin. See, typically even with our new launches, we had 4 launches in the last 2 years. We cover only about 60% of the market. And going forward, our aim is that by 2020, at least 90% of the market we should cover. Yes, going forward in this year, we'll have Harrier, which we showed at the Auto Expo, that will be launched towards the end of the year.
Speaking a little bit about rising raw material costs and just juxtaposing that against the fact that crude is again above $80 a barrel, fuel prices have been going up, petrol and diesel, both analysts are saying crude could touch $100 a barrel, which would have an adverse impact again on fuel prices. What is the demand scenario looking like for the next 6 months?
Yeah, Kevin, I've been in this business for over 2 decades, and I've never seen any year where everything is positive. So let's see a balance sheet, positives and negatives. Positives, yes, economy is doing good. Infrastructure construction is, I think, decent. Monsoon is predicted to be good. Last year it was good. So I think these are ballpark good positives. Concern-wise, yes, I think fuel prices is a concern. $80, or you saw Delhi, I mean, how the prices of fuel are going up, that's a concern. Inflation and interest rates could be a cause of concern. So as manufacturers, we have to strike a balance, find our own ways. And I think despite all this, I stick to that 8% growth which CM has projected. I think it should grow like that.
Okay, so that's a lot from Tata Motors, and the long and the short of it is that the market will show its disappointment, at least initially. Well, let's look at earnings that are expected today. The two big ones would be IGL and United Spirits. But Sonal first, let's start with United Spirits.
Well, you know, good set of numbers is expected from United Spirits, both on a YOY and on a sequential basis. Revenue growth of 3.5%, EBITDA growth of 11.5% is what is expected. All this leading to margin expansion of around 140 basis points. Profits is also expected to grow by 65% on a YOY basis. But the key number that we'll be looking out for will be the volume growth. However, again, we're expecting a decline of around 9% in volumes this time around, which will be majorly led by the franchising segment that the company had entered into, and also because of the route to market changes that the company had witnessed last quarter. However, molasses prices, that has declined sharply over 1 year, and that's why it'll drive margin expansion for the company. In terms of prestige and above segment, we're expecting some sort of volume growth there, and that is one thing that we'll be looking out for. Management last time on the con call was very positive, and they told us that they are expecting double-digit volume growth and also double-digit revenue growth, and also the margins are expected to be improve and will be in mid to high digit teens. So management commentary will be closely watched out for today.
Oh, of course we would. And this premiumization price hikes, of course, are going to stand in good stead as far as margins are concerned as well. All FMCG companies have reported higher volumes and higher premiumization. One should expect much of that in United Spirits. But let's come to a more boring smokestack stock, GAIL. What should one expect, Sonal?
Well, good set of numbers are expected, majorly on the operational front, driven by the LPG and the petchem segment. Well, revenue is expected to be flat at around 14,400 crore mark. EBITDA is where we'll see some sort of growth at 7.5%. All this leading to a margin expansion of around 170 basis points. Now, this will be majorly led by the LPG and the petchem segment, because LPG segment, the volumes are expected to grow by around 22% on a YOY basis. Even the realizations for the LPG segment have been quite strong. Other segment that we'll be looking out for will be the petchem segment, because the realizations there, we are expecting them to be strong. Also, the feedstock prices have been lower. So that's why it'll drive the margin expansion for that particular segment. EBIT is also expected to improve due to turnaround in the petchem division profitability. Transmission segment, that is, however, expected to give moderation in their volumes. That was majorly because LNG import had been higher, but domestic gas production had been weaker. 6% EBIT growth is what is expected for this particular segment. Other things that we'll be watching out for from the management will be the profitability in the gas trading business and also progress of pipeline projects that the management had been talking about. Let's see how the stock reacts before the earnings are out.